Good morning, team. If you're installing the Z1 two-piece Akebono upgrade or replacement brake rotors like we have on my Nismo here that are going on, and you have this in the box, I was incorrect in my assumption. Here we're looking at the two-piece Akebono front. This R means right. It even says on their in-house code tag right, and that means passenger side for North American vehicles anyway. So see these directional cooling vanes? Let's pull this out of the plastic if we can. I'm gonna set the camera down because I should have prepared for this. And I did not, but so it goes. Okay, here we go. So see these directional cooling vanes right here? These do not cut into the wind. They're not meant to rotate this way, which is what I assumed. They don't scoop air, they disperse the air. So this is how it's gonna look on the car, rolling forward. So this means passenger. I would have 100% installed those backward. So call Z1 Motorsports if you have questions just to confirm that, but I'll be the first to tell you if it saves you time and you're looking at this video. I did, and that's correct. So one more time, these directional cooling vanes don't scoop air like this, which is what I assumed. They actually disperse air, so they spin that way, which means when the car's rolling forward on the passenger side there, it's gonna look like this. So, when in doubt, ask for help. Okay. So, if you're gonna be doing brake rotors and pads and maybe even brake lines, what wouldn't be a bad idea is to hose everything off in here with some degreaser. A little diluted degreaser. Let it sit for a few minutes and kind of knock some of the schmutz and brake dust and all that stuff off of there. And then what we're gonna do is kind of detail out these calipers a little bit. And since we're in there, right, might as well. So the other thing we're gonna do, if you look inside these wheels, let's actually take this wheel outside because I think you're gonna be pretty blown away, hopefully, at other opportunities to clean parts of your car, right? You got the wheel off, you have unabated access to all the stuff, all the nooks and crannies you wouldn't normally get when they're mounted. So check out all that grossness. See all the rust and buildup on these painted wheels. Let's look at the barrels. Yuck, right? Gross. All right, shit. As I was saying before my GoPro battery died, we're gonna put some Diablo wheel gel from Chemical Guys in this bucket of water. I'm gonna use some Adams wheel cleaner, which I think has an Iron X type of agent in it because it turns stuff purple. Then I'm gonna spray it with some diluted Diablo wheel gel. This stuff is pH neutral, which is good news. I'm gonna hit it with some brushes and then a finer detail brush to get inside the lug holes and stuff. And then hopefully I can get all this gooey shit off of here and turn these into pretty wheels, maybe even ceramic coat them. Who knows? Let's see where we can get going. I will touch base when I'm done with the cleaning process. All right, so quick update on the brakes. Here's a few things I did. While I was down here, I sprayed some degreaser. Once we get this thing buttoned back up, I'm gonna really go aggressively after it with the bare bones undercarriage oil-based stuff. But we have the new rotor on. I did call Z1 and confirm this is the orientation it's supposed to be in. So those fins are supposed to not cup the air or cut into it. It's supposed to disperse the heat out from the center, which means these little vanes point forward. That's what they said on the phone this morning, so that's what we're gonna do. So, we're about to compress the pistons. We're gonna clean out the inside and then the outside later on. We're gonna try not to get brake fluid everywhere, but I don't wanna fuck up those dust seals that are in there. So be kind of gentle with it. I didn't have a wire brush, and if you're gonna put these on, and I didn't show you before we put these on, there's a lot of schmutz and crud and stuff that builds up, rust and all that shit. And this was a Pacific Northwest car, so there's a lot of sea salt in the air. And seawater and shit. So what I did is the chemical way. I used some Iron X. I covered the mounting surface in this. It turned into a very deep purple, and then it bled all over the floor, and I wiped as much of that iron shit that it was breaking loose off of there. And then I mounted the surface to surface on the brake rotor. But we're about done. All we got to do is squeeze that, clean it out, throw some pads in it, and put the bracer back on, and then replace the brake line with the steel one. Pop the clips back in. Bob's your uncle. By the way, if you're doing this, keep an eye on your brake fluid. The worst thing you can do is let that go below the minimum line and introduce air into the system. You will be bleeding brakes for the rest of eternity. So that also means the least amount of time possible that you can have the brake line disconnected while you're replacing it with another one, probably the better off you are. So that's our update for now. And then we'll touch base once that in. We'll only have 3 more to go. And then I think the other ones will go pretty quick once we have a good idea. We didn't need any crazy tools to get the rotor off, but we did have to beat on it quite a bit because there's a lot of rust buildup. Again, this was a Pacific Northwest car. So the other side of life is trying to clean the wheel. I got some of the stickies off where the tire wheel weights were, but not super good enough. Anyway, I'm gonna get these painted bits spotless before I put them back on the car and try and protect them this way. When we introduce a lot more brake dust in the future, it probably won't cling to the paint as hard and things will be in a better place. So there's our update. Yeah, I was repairing the old file.
Again?
Yeah, it froze again. I think it's getting used to the new wireless microphone setup that I have plugged into it. I don't know what's wrong with it. And it's a GoPro. All right, so we're working on the second one. Let's see this first one as we're kind of done with this. We need to bleed these brake lines, so that's why I haven't put the wheel back on. But essentially, rotor looks really, really good. We didn't check the e-brake thing, but if we have to pull a tire off and reset them, I can do that. Just kind of a pain in the butt. But I think we got it because it was pretty tight fitting to get on. So anyhow, if you're curious, these are the Z1 brake lines, the premium ones. Comes with the block. You just install one line right here. That's it. It just goes there, all the way up to there. And the hard line that's back here stays, it loops itself into the caliper. So clean everything else off. I degreased a whole bunch of shit, and we're doing the best we can on that side. So besides cleaning out the fender liner and getting all the schmutz and shit off of there, which I can do later, this is one down, the other one's off. As soon as Paul here feels comfortable with the caliper, I will de-iron the faceplate of the rotor and get to work on the caliper, cleaning and degreasing, and then greasing up the piston seals, which might be a little extra, but I think it's worth it anyway. So right now we're just trying to smash out those pistons, and then that's it. We ordered lunch. Lunch is on the way. We're about halfway through with this. We'll bang out the other side, and then things will be amazing. We'll bleed the brakes, and we'll get cracking. Yeah. All right, so quick update. We have all 4 corners done. So here is the new brake rotor. I cleaned up the calipers a lot, and then we put the new steel braided brake lines in from Z1. I still have brake fluid all over the john, so I gotta clean all this stuff. We're on to bleeding the brakes. This one was the hardest one, and it's because of that right there. That was like spinning out, it was seizing, it was singing Billy Ray Cyrus songs and shit. We couldn't figure it out. We finally got it figured out by combining our brain power of, well, Paul did it. So Paul figured it out, and then the car stopped singing Billy Ray Cyrus songs, and we were like, fuck yeah, we're back in business. So that's it. Those are done. It only took us 15 minutes. If it takes you longer than 15 minutes, you're doing stuff wrong. Yeah. And we weren't at this for hours at all. Also, by the way, if you take this cap off and you somehow drop it, not that that's possible, somewhere in here, you gotta, well, it's really fucking hard to get, so don't do that. And then I cleaned all the biomatter and bugs and bullshit out of the wheels and put a light ceramic coating on them, even though the tape and schmutz and stuff in here still needs to be ripped off. That's gonna take me a whole day, which I will not do today because we still have an oil cooler to do. So we're gonna bleed these brakes and then we're gonna win at life. I am also really woozy because my face has been inhaling chemicals all day, trying to clean and degrease and rip the rust off of stuff and get the rotors seated properly and all that stuff. So yeah, that's it for now. Things are coming together. It just took a touch longer than I thought. Without Paul, this would have taken me at least 3 days to do by myself. So I am thrilled to have some help. Yeah. Well, all right, sports fans. So we got brakes on. I left myself a note to torque wheels. We did not put these wheels on because we had to install the engine oil cooler.
Oh, or hold on a second.
What's that?
Pull that out of the list. You showed off.
Oh, yeah. So this is easy. These are very pliable and bendable, and you can just move them around. I'm kidding. It's a bitch. Also, you Nismo owners, this strut, it says optional. It 100% needs to be inverted, so you got to put the stubby end that used to live here over there so it fits. Anyway, the lines go down and around, then they kind of sneak down through here. The pictures have them going through here by the windshield wiper bath with tank thing, which is fucking giant, by the way. It doesn't. It goes behind the bumper bar. And then we did successfully fit them underneath here. This comes with a spacer right here. Most guys can't get it through there. I didn't think we could either. We got it. And then this is the worst. The worst. There's literally no room anymore to take that filter on and off. I mean, you got maybe 2 inches. That's rough. And then these fittings have to be angled. Do yourself a favor. The fitting that this sits inside of right here, that goes into the thermostatic plate, tighten that down first before you put these on. All right, so both of the fittings are super hot, so they're getting oil, which is good. No drips on the pan, which is also very hot. New drain plug and crush washer. New beautiful brakes. Oh my God, what a fucking day. And we gotta fucking put the bumper back on and shit. Let's take a look at some temps, see if our needle moved. You're gonna wanna add so far 1 extra quart of oil to this car to compensate for the volume needed to fill up the little intercooler reservoir thing in the front that we front mounted. And possibly 2 extra quarts. I pulled the dipstick. It is like reading at the lowest possible point while the system is kind of running, and that we pumped oil into the cooler first before we started it. And I feel like we had five total quarts in the engine, and then I added a 6th. So I might need to add 1 more, but let's see where our needle is. It moved. Cool. It was sitting at 140 forever. It fucking moved. Awesome. Cool. So I think we might need 1 more quart, but we'll see. This is probably going to be my last update for the day. We are dog-ass tired. We got to button this car up. I have to try to bed the brakes in for a couple of miles at least, or get a start on it. And then we have to bring this thing to Nissan tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Wunderbar. what a fucking day doing the brakes and the oil cooler. I'm very pleased that we got this done. I can't thank Paul enough for helping me out. He is a godsend. So yeah. Yeah, well, when in doubt, update the vlog. So we're back home. I see palm trees. That's good news. Paul's still here. We're still kicking ass and taking names. We're in the truck. So I took the Nissan to Henderson Nissan to have the reprogramming / replacement immobilizer, if necessary, installed, and have them cut me a new key so I would have 2 keys with the car. I made the appointment over a week ago and she doesn't have the key. Oh, we don't keep those in stock. I don't have one. I'll have to order one. Can you come back tomorrow? Yeah, no, I can't. I mean, I'm gonna have to. So why are we in the truck? Well, I asked them about installing the clutch and she said, no, we don't do that because it's aftermarket. And then she stepped away and the other service advisor was like, here, take my card for next time because obviously we can totally do that if you have all the parts. So she came back with the service manager, and he was very reluctant to say yes. But do you have the whole kit? Do you have everything you need? I don't know. We can't warranty anything. This is your fault. I don't like this. We're gonna dump squirrel shit into your exhaust. What are you doing? Buy Nissan shitty parts. That's all we know how to do. And then I was like, hey, calm yourself, man. Here's all the stuff. He's like, all right, go get it. We'll fucking do it. That's not at all how that happened, but that's how it felt inside, because how do you not have the parts that I ordered and scheduled an exact appointment for over a week ago? I love it when that stuff happens. So I was like, well, hey, look, why don't I just get the parts? I'll leave it here. I can come get the car in a couple of days. They said, oh yeah, that would be very helpful. Why don't we do that? So now we're gonna go home and get more parts and bring them more parts and give them the parts. And I'm gonna get an itemized list of what they're gonna do before I go home. So I can cross stuff off because they don't seem to be super with it, which is a great first start to getting your car worked on by people that don't seem like they're super with it. So already there's a pit in my stomach, way worse than when I slammed into those tire chains a couple days ago. What were you gonna say?
One of them seems to be with it.
Yeah, one of them seems to know their shit.
Seems to know their shit, and he's the one who's like, hey, by the way,
yeah,
here's my card.
Anyway, let's go get some parts and bring them parts and then wait a little bit more. And hopefully everything works out, because then we will have all the major systems done in the car and I will feel rejuvenated, joyful even, as long as the car stops pulling to the right. And yeah, I'm happy. Okay, so bye for now.